So how do you write emails that appeal to people who will actually buy from you? So your email marketing produces more sales and not just nice replies and goodwill. It's a really simple switch in how you write your emails that will just do this automatically. And I'm going to give you the whole thing in today's episode. Hey, welcome to the show. Happy Email Marketing Wednesday. What I'm about to share with you works whatever it is you are selling. I've got clients who sell online tap dancing membership, dementia support coaching, singing lessons, cookery, the whole thing. And what's really interesting about this is every time I look at someone's emails to review them, they're generally making this mistake. They're saying to me, well, I'm doing email marketing, but why am I not actually making sales? And it's because they're not putting call to actions in or anything like that stuff. It's to do with an attitude inside of the emails, almost like who they're writing to within the audience. And I'm going to show you how to fix the entire thing really, really quickly with this really, really simple and really amazing model. Do you know what's amazing to me is around 25% of you, and that's it, only about a quarter of you who tune into this show are actually subscribed. It's just amazing to me. So if you are one of those people who currently is not subscribed to the show, please hit the subscribe button. It means that I know that you're enjoying this content. It also means that these new episodes show up in your news feed every time that I publish one every Email Marketing Wednesday. So make sure that you do hit subscribe on that as well. And if you haven't already grabbed a copy of my new program called Email Marketing Sorted, I'm hooking you up with a completely free copy for tuning in to this show. It shows you the 3 psychological principles that I use in order to take one of my offers from $27,000 up to over $500,000 in sales. Same offer, same audience, just 3 psychological principles. This is really, really powerful stuff. So if you go to emailmarketingsorted.com, you'll be able to get access to the whole program completely for free. So into today's episode, I want you to think about your own path to finding a solution to any problem that you have. We basically go through several little pit stops on the journey in this path. The first stop we make when we're kind of going through any problem that we've got in our lives, with our personal lives or our business lives or our professional lives or anything like that, the first thing we have to do, we go through is a diagnosis phase. That's the very first phase anybody is going to go through. And once we understand all 5 of these phases, by the way, that's when we're going to be able to see who should we be writing to. Because the problem is most people are actually writing their emails and their other content to people at the diagnosis phase. The problem with that is these are people who don't even know that they've got a problem. They're walking around and they don't know they've got their relationships about to fall apart because of something they didn't even know they did. They're walking around with some kind of ailment or sickness that they don't even know they've got yet, right? So what a lot of people do in their marketing, especially if you've ever seen or maybe done it yourself, where you've run a quiz, and what a lot of people make a big mistake, they get completely wrong with running quizzes, is they make them diagnosis quizzes. And what I mean by that is they don't know they've got a problem, and the point of the quiz is to diagnose the problem. The difficulty with targeting and speaking to people who are undiagnosed with their problem is that is a very long way from actually buying what it is that you are selling. If you've got to move people from the diagnosis phase all the way through to understanding the pain that they're in, understanding how you can help them, and then actually making them want to buy, that is a long journey. I'm going to get more into that in a minute, but that's the big problem that a lot of people have, is we're targeting people who are we're trying to diagnose what people are having as a problem. So the next phase is what I call the pain phase. Now, this is where a person feels a pain. They become very cognizant that there is something going on for them. They feel it. They've got that bad back, or they can't sing and they want to be able to sing, or they're not making sales. So they're feeling the discomfort. They're feeling the pain for the thing. And I'm going to show you how to actually apply these into your emails. This is really, really important once you understand where you're getting this wrong. And most people are speaking to people in diagnosis or pain phase, and you don't need to be. The next phase is what I call the hope phase. That's the point when us human beings start researching different solutions, because they're like, do you know what? I feel like this can be solved. This is not like a permanent situation I'm in. And this is when they start looking at different things like, is there a way I can just do this myself? Can I think my way through this? Can I get some professional help? Can I travel to a seminar or a retreat or an event or a place to go and solve this problem? Is there a home study program? Is there an app that will help me? Is there a pill I can take? Is there an injection I can take? This is a person who's at the phase of, I have hope. hope, and now I'm just looking for what it is I should do. The next phase is the choice phase. This is a person who's now gone through hope. They're like, I can solve this. This is solvable. And now they're sitting down, weighing up their options. They've got a short list of products and services, and most critically, yours is among those things. The final phase is what I call the motivation phase, right? The motivation phase is they know what it is you offer. They know about your coaching program. They know about your course. They know about your membership, your consultation, your products or your services. They know. They can see value in it. They're actually ready to buy. But what they need at the motivation phase, and this is where a lot of people miss out, is they need the reason to actually do it now and not keep putting it off. The problem that I'm seeing all the time, and this happens a lot, is a lot of people start their marketing at the diagnosis phase. They're finding people who don't even know that they've got a problem. And that is really expensive. You've got to cast a really wide net. You've got to put a lot of money into advertising. And not only do you have to put a lot of money out there and a lot of content out there to reach a lot of people, to get them to understand that they've got a problem and to permeate the ignorance of I don't have a problem, but also to move them from that phase to wanting to start looking into the problem and exploring their pain and moving into the hope phase to get them moving up here. It takes a long time. So not only have you spent a lot of time and a lot of money on getting in front of those people to diagnose them, is you're going to take a long time to get them from here up into the next phase. And basically becomes this big numbers game. Annoyingly, a lot of companies, big companies, who've got really deep pockets and really huge budgets, who are basically talking constantly about content marketing, generally are teaching us small businesses who don't have deep pockets, who don't have massive budgets, don't have long time frames, they're teaching we should start in the diagnosis phase. We should be doing all these long form bits of content. We should be doing these blog posts which help people diagnose pain. No, that's the wrong place to start. If you're a coach, if you're an expert, if you have a course, if you have a membership, if you are basically making less than 10 million a year, that is the wrong approach, and it will get you no results really, really quickly. And when you get no results, you get demotivated, and it's a really awful spiral. You start questioning yourself, questioning your business. You probably already had that situation before. So what are we going to do? Whenever I go into a business, whenever I'm helping a client, whenever they're on a coaching program with me, the first thing we want to do is start at motivation. These are the people who are already on your list, who are already following you. And it's a small percentage of people, but these are the people you should speak to every single month who just need a reason to buy. They're fully aware of what your products and services are. And they know they need those products or services because they've got the pain that they find themselves in, and they hope that you are going to be able to solve the problem. So every single month, you absolutely need to have some kind of message, some emails, a sequence of emails, a campaign, a marketing campaign, which specifically appeals to people who all they need is the motivation, a reason to do this now. That is, here's a coupon, here's a bonus when you enroll, or the price is about to rise, so get in before it does, or enrollment is closing. You have to answer the question, why right now? And what we're going to do every single month when you're looking at what you're going to promote this coming month is just write down, when am I going to appeal to motivation, to the people who are ready to buy and they just need a reason. That is really quick money. Look, if you were learning to play golf, which I know nothing about, but let's say I was going to learn to play golf of all things, right? When I'm learning to play golf, I want to start off with the ball right next to the hole, and I'm going to just put it into the hole. I'm going to get my ability to hold the bat, get a result, and then I'm going to move a little bit further away from the hole and further away. Make it easy for yourself to get the win, right? Once you've done that campaign, then we're going to go a little earlier in the journey to people who need choice. And how do you appeal to this choice? Well, at the minute, remember, someone who's in the choice phase is basically looking at your solution versus a more expensive solution versus a cheaper solution versus a bigger commitment solution, a longer term solution, a shorter term solution, and just a different solution. Maybe the same exact price and terms, but just a different person, maybe with a different accent or a different face or whatever, right? And so what do we do at that point? Well, what we need to do is we need to show them a few things. If we're in the choice phase, we need to show them, one, do you understand them better than anyone else. If you can see that I understand your problems better than anybody else does, that automatically makes you assume that I can solve them better than anybody else without me even having to prove that I can solve your problems. There's no proof required, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't want to use social proof, or I haven't got any great case studies, or I haven't got any great testimonials, or maybe you have, but you want to just do something a bit differently and you want to do something more effective, if you show somebody you understand their problems better than anybody else, you win. The second thing you can do here is you need to prove that they can believe you will solve their problem. If they believe you will solve their problem, or you could solve their problem, then again, that you are an easier choice to make from the set that they've got in front of them. Let's imagine that they're picking you. You're one of 5. How are you going to make it you? Well, they have to believe you can do it. And if they don't believe the other people as much as they believe you, you win the game. The third thing you can do is share your background and experience. When you share your background and your experience, that can give credibility. So I'll give you an example of this. If you're wanting to learn how to write emails that really convert, and you understand that my background is I used to stand on stage for 15 years. I was standing on stages 3 times a week using psychology, persuasion, and communication skills to make it look like I could predict people's behavior and read their minds in a quote-unquote mind-reading show is very practical. It's very applied. I'm not just another salesperson. Once you understand that, you think, my God, if I could apply that to my emails, surely they would work much better. That's exactly how my background, there was no social proof in that, right? To do with getting results from emails. There was no, why should you believe me? You should believe me because my background says that, okay? So what background or experience have you got that actually you could use the credibility of that in what you're doing? The next is your own personal results. When you share your own personal results, the results you've got for yourself, you're saying, look, I've walked this path and I've developed this with you. This is exactly what I do when I'm telling people about my automated email engine program. I had a brand new membership. I didn't know how to sell it. It was like $150 a month. And I was like, how do we get people in? And I developed this thing called the automated email engine, which got me to a place where automatically, while I was asleep, while I was on holiday, was bringing in 1 to 2 brand new clients in, brand new members into that membership. And that's how I developed the automated email engine. So that's the result I got for myself. When I talk about, hey, I did this thing and it went from $27,000 to over $500,000 of this one offer, that's my own personal results. Oh, you've walked the path. People love to walk alongside someone who's already walked the path because it now shows this is not just a thing that I teach clients. This is not just a thing I've invented that might help you. This is a thing that I've personally developed to actually get a result for me. Oh, I've now got personal stake in the game. Okay, when you see somebody who's had that situation, it's much more believable, and you feel like the result and the process is much better. The 5th of these is results from other clients. And that's your testimonials. That's your case studies. So that's when you start talking about, hey, this person came in, Sheila came in, she had 78 email subscribers, very small list, and she used what I taught her, used one of my campaigns, and she immediately, basically over the next couple of months, she sold out her mastermind program with less than 80 subscribers, by the way, which is amazing. She's from London. She's an incredible coach. And she sold out her mastermind program and basically has a 6-figure business and is absolutely caning it. Wow, that's great. Or here's Hillary Marie. She has an online tap dancing membership. She ran one of my campaigns. She made $16,000. All those things, whatever the result is. Hey, this person couldn't sing for toffee. They even hated their own sound, their voice in the shower. And now they've done a concert at their local old people's home. Fantastic, right? So we're now talking about your client results, the things that other people have had with you. The final thing we're going to do here is we're also going to add in motivation. We're going to add in a reason to act now because, and here's what's really powerful, when you add in a reason to act now, something crazy happens with our brains. So one of the things you'll learn if you hang out with me at all is I'm obsessed with the fact that human beings are not logical. We like to think of ourselves as logical. We like to think, oh, well, if I want that outcome, I'm going to do these things and therefore I'm going to get the outcome. But actually our behavior, the way we actually act, the things we do rather than the things we think about, but the actual way we behave, the proof in the behavior is we are not logical at all. We're purely emotional actors. We act based on emotion. We do things based on emotion. So if we now add in a motivation, right? If we add in a motivation, a reason to act now, what's really incredible about human beings is that all of these other things we talked about, understand, the fact you understand them, the fact that they believe you can solve their problem, the background experience and results, the other clients and customers, all that stuff becomes way less important. In fact, a reason to act now emotionally overcomes any logic of choosing. Because think about it. If we're in this choice phase here, if we say to somebody, hey, you've got 5 choices, you can join any of the other 4 at any point, but mine, you have to make a decision now because we're actually closing enrollment, it prioritizes making a decision about you. You're actually shifting the decision-making process in someone's brain from deciding between 5 different options to only deciding about you. They're only making a decision. You've actually made it easier for them to make a decision and overcome the decision fatigue in someone's brain. And you've said, only decision you need to make is, are you going to join my program or you're not going to join my program? And people are so relieved and they go, that decision's so much easier. They're way more likely to say yes. Really, really powerful. Only once we've done that, we're now going to go into appealing to hope. So just to actually put another point on that, in your emails and in all of your marketing, you're going to now have something that appeals to motivation every month and something that helps people to make the choice. The only other type of content we really want to focus on in your emails is stuff that helps with hope. We're not going to go all the way down to diagnosis. And I'll explain what you can do for diagnosis in a moment, but we really want to go into hope. These hope people, what we're going to do with hope actually is we're going to use hope messaging in your list building. That is the best place to use hope-based messaging. And in that, you're going to create lead magnets, you're going to create content, you're going to create YouTube content, your reels, you're going to create your shorts, all that sort of stuff is for list building, for content, and for audience building. And the things you're going to do in those pieces of content, and you might recognize that I do this as well, right? Is you are going to, first of all, tell them that they are not the only one with the problem. They are not alone. They're not the only one who's got this problem. They're not the only one who is a coach who can't get as many clients as they want. They're not the only one who's bought a brand new house but can't get the bloody lawn to grow. They're not the only person whose partner who said the divorce word. You're not the only one. That's the first thing we have to tell people, because if someone thinks they're the only and the first, that feels like they're the problem. Which brings me on to my second point, which is it is not their fault. If someone believes it's their fault, they will be paralyzed and unable to make a decision and unable to, I feel very resistant against actually going and finding a solution and put something in place. So we need to move the blame somewhere else. And that blame could be, it's not your fault, it's hormones, it's age, it's the location. A really good catch-all, not your fault is, it's not your fault, it's just that everybody who's taught you stuff is wrong. You've been taught the wrong information by all these gurus. And actually, in the case of email marketing, that is the case. I talk about this a lot. Most of the information that's perpetuated around the internet about email marketing just doesn't work. It's nice in theory. It sounds pretty. It's very idealistic. But when you actually come to implement it, when you see it with thousands of clients, I can tell you a lot of that idealistic stuff about nurturing for a long time does not work. People run out of money very, very quickly. People run out of motivation and hope very, very quickly. The third thing, so after you've got it's not their fault, you also want to be very clear that there are solutions. You've been trying to solve the problem, but don't worry, there are still solutions. You've tried putting the lawn feed down. You've tried watering it 3 times a day. Everybody says to do that. Don't worry, there are still solutions. There is a great solution that works. And the final thing is that we have to tell them that the solutions will work for them in their particular set of circumstances. Everybody believes and is very aware that each of our circumstances or set of circumstances are unique. I live live in a particular place. I'm in a particular type of relationship. I've got a particular budget. I've got a particular family set up. I've got a particular type of business, particular types of offers and things I do and don't do, and I will travel or I won't travel. We are not inventing unique elements of the periodic table, but we are individual, our own cocktail. And when you let people know that, when people can clearly see, oh, this will work for my specific set of situations or my circumstances, then they go, great, now it is going to work. Because the biggest fear people have is that that's okay for everybody else, but because of my situation that I'm in, my set of circumstances that I find myself in, or I plan to have myself in, it is not going to work for me. It will work for everybody else, but that's the reason I've failed in the past. So in your emails, just to bring this all together, right? In your emails, you have to speak to 1, motivation, which answers the question, why now? 2, the choice-specific situation, which is why you? And hope, which is how to. If you do those 3 things and stop with the diagnosis and stop with all the pain, then you are going to have way more conversions from your emails. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's all great and well, but how do I actually structure a really good email? What should I put in this email? I understand. Don't worry. If you watch this video here, then that's going to walk you through that entire process. I recommend you go and check that one out next. See you next week.